Hello everybody, and welcome to my review of Watsky's new album, Complaint. My name is HSR. This is the Headspace podcast where we go through new albums track by track, offering thoughts and opinions. I say we because it's usually more than just me, but today it's just me, and well, it's a podcast because it's long. I don't really know how the fucking words work these days. Definitions seem to keep changing, but what doesn't change is what the word complaint means, and that is Watsky's new album. So for those of you who are new here, you can check the description to see when the episode starts if you want to skip the intro bit. But I like to kind of give a little introduction that I'm not necessarily going to be as familiar with Watsky as you are, because in my experience doing this format of a show for a while is that the people coming here know way more than I do. And I like to just bring that up right at the front from a full disclosure point of view, because the goal of this show is to go through all these different albums, new ones, and then simultaneously we run a classic show to go through the old ones. And the goal is to just see what makes a good album, and like to learn and to come from a place of maybe I don't fully understand it, but like I'm trying to understand it better. And I want y'all to know that from like the jump, and that there's no surprises later on. But I really do appreciate all of your comments, and so if you do leave a comment down there, I'll answer it. We can have an actual conversation in the comments, and I want to hear all of your experiences, like when you first encountered Watsky, what you think about Watsky as an artist, you know, why he's good, what you think of this album, all that good shit, because it just helps me get better at doing this, which means that I make more of you folk out there happy. So in a sense, you're actively contributing to both of our mutual happiness. Anyway, before we jump into the episode, I want to give a quick shout out to the patrons Linda Williams, Super Old School 1994, Chris Prado, and Ismail Gadamsi. We'll talk a bit about that at the end of the episode. And without further ado, let's get into it. I like to start off each review, in this case for the SEO keyword's sake, the album Complaint by Watsky, by contextualizing how familiar I am with the artist. Usually we do it as a group, so this will be a little quick. I know who Watsky is because he's about my age. He's 32 right now. I'm 31. And I was like up on the internet when he was kind of rising up. So I remember like I probably saw that Pale White Kid Raps Fast video. Like I probably saw that one that went viral for him back when it was going viral, because I was just the right age to be like sitting around on YouTube and shit. But I knew who he was. I knew he was a fast rapper. I knew he was on that like college side of hip hop, we'll call it, where it seemed to be more conscious. And I don't really know much about him. Somehow he like completely stayed off of my radar, and I forgot about him. I'll be honest. I kind of grouped him in with like Mac Miller and a couple of others like that. To me, it wasn't that they all sounded the same. Chris Webby was another one I kind of put in there. It wasn't like they sounded the same. It was just, I guess at the time, my interest in the sound they were all creating wasn't there. I can't really explain it. But yeah, here we are today. I saw Watsky drop the album like 2 Fridays ago. Didn't have a chance to listen to it till like a couple of days ago. So it's as if the album came out last week for me, even if though you guys have had a little bit longer to sit on it. Still, I saw it came out. I got really curious. I'm personally on a mission to like prove that hip hop doesn't suck in terms of the new albums that come out, because I don't know about y'all, but most of the older folk I know who like hip hop, or the people who are really into, let's say, the more pure forms, are consistently saying that hip hop is a bunch of auto-tune nonsense with like no real art in it anymore. And I wonder about that, because these are all the same people that still listen to all that bullshit when they go to the club and whatnot. But I always wondered, like, how is it? Like, a lot of people used to say to me, hip hop's not dead, you just weren't listening to the right shit. And now, having done this for a couple of years, I have to agree with them. There's so much good shit coming out. And I believe this album is definitely an example of an interesting experience in hip-hop that is just something not regular. And so for people who are bored of, let's say, the regular, there you go. Watsky's welcome to the family. This is a good album for you. We'll get into that more. So I don't have a lot to comment more at this point, just because I don't know a lot about him. Only the general nuance that he's been at this for almost a decade, and he's still at it. And I don't know what level of fame he's achieved, but I don't think he ever really achieved like the next level of fame. I always thought he was kind of a middle card player. No disrespect, Mr. Watsky, if you're watching this, but that's just my understanding of it. So it's really just cool to me to see somebody my age still chasing their dreams. And like as a dude in his earliest 30s, I just really appreciate that because I'm still trying to chase mine, even if my relative success is nothing like Mr. Watsky's, or some of you people watching it may be 3 times as successful as me. So whatever. This album's called Complaint, so you get the sense that there's going to be some complaining on it. We don't know the tone or anything, but it almost sounds like the whole project's going to be a concept album. And then in the back of the album cover, you see Watsky's face kind of like faded out, like it's meant to be something a little more dramatic. And I wanted to just touch on concept albums really quickly. Maybe I'll do like a super deep dive into the idea of it, but all a concept album means is that every song on that album carries some form of a concept. Whether it's 15 songs about the same subject that aren't directly related to each other, or maybe something a little more movie-driven, like Section 80 from Kendrick Lamar, where, yeah, the songs don't individually always connect to each other, but there is this granular arc of little hidden Easter eggs that truly connect the project into almost a linear story. So it doesn't have to be a story. It just kind of has to be all around the same type of shit. And I thought I'd just bring that up because I do believe that Watsky has produced a concept album here. And we can go through it track by track. And we're going to start with Welcome to the Family.
Crammed into the balcony, they're jamming up the lobby. They're falling out the window.
So, if any of you did watch my Aesop Rock review that came out like whenever it just came out, one of the things I mentioned there was the couple of parts where I felt like the beats really felt dynamic and alive. And then I listened to this and realized nothing on that album felt dynamic and alive compared to the way this song feels like dynamic and alive. So it just kind of starts off and right away with the hello, 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 hello. It's a motherfucking pleasure. What a way to start a song. It's all singy and grandiose and like it just feels more like an elaborate presentation. And for those of you who really dig this style, I highly recommend checking out the rapper Joker with 2 R's, The Joker. Dope. Grandiose production like this too at different parts of his career, so you might really enjoy that. But like for real, he just comes in and starts speaking almost like this is like a theater play, but simultaneously it's like an introduction, but it's a motherfucking pleasure. So I like the way he decides to use motherfucking there because it adds a degree of, but this isn't your regular, you know, like, yeah, I'm being polite and cordial, but he's swearing, so it's not. It's just kind of an illusion or whatever. No pressure, but would you like to blow my mind and move too fast and plan our perfect lives together? Holy, 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 holy shit. You mean to tell me you're tough to love when you don't love yourself? So obviously there's this other person, maybe this girl, and it kind of sounds like when you fall really in love far too quickly, but you're both a little bit fucked up, and next thing you know, you're like clinging to like moving into each other and big future dreams and shit, but simultaneously you have that anxiety inside of you where you know this maybe is a mistake with the ideas like holy, holy, holy shit being repeated there. But then it really just to me culminates with the you're tough to love when you don't love yourself. Well, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. And I thought a lot about that because in my more single days, so many girls that I did date, and even at points myself, used the excuse, you're tough to love when you don't love yourself. Like, there were periods in my life where I hated myself, and I couldn't really love other people, so maybe I used people, or maybe I still wanted to get some action or whatever, and so you would say a line like that. And then just the idea that Watsky's overall response to this as well, welcome to the family. Like, you're not alone. Like, let's be real. Everybody's kind of fucked up at this point, and, like, everybody's kind of in this club, so maybe it's like a perspective flip, like, welcome to the family. Let's just be a part of this. We are the same, and we can all look at it differently. And then the whole second verse, he kind of flips it around on himself, like my less exciting features are packed inside my body, they're crammed into a balcony, they're jamming up the lobby, etc. You know, it just kind of describes almost this decrepit feeling of almost like your insides rotting, and you just feel like this could be his anxiety or just the thoughts in his head being something completely not appealing, and it almost feels like based on his perception. And then it kind of rolls into this, and I say welcome to the family, because if we think about how in the last verse it was somebody else trying to sell themselves short, and now Watsky's trying to sell himself short, and it's just see, look, here's proof to the pudding. You feel that way about yourself, but look at how I feel about myself. So let's connect over our brokenness and welcome to the family. And it's a pretty good dating strategy, I'll be honest with you. I've tried some like similar things to that, but like, I'm broken, you're broken, here's how we're broken, why don't we be broken together, you know? And then all of a sudden in that third verse, he stops the singiness a little bit. Well, not to say fully, because this has been a little singy. It wasn't quite as rappy as I was expecting. Not bad at all. It's quite enjoyable. I believe he was getting singing lessons, and I think it really shows. I might be wrong. I don't know if he's always singing like this. I don't know. I just thought I saw that on the internet. But he flips up his rhythm to the, we're not looking for a wish on a star. I'm not even going as fast. He goes really quick with it and keeps it tight. We're no good at receiving the help. Who the hell do you think that you are? And it just is like these short little sped up one lines. So it's almost like the whole third verse is quicker and more rappy, but still has a certain degree of melody to it. And I really enjoy it because at the end of the day, it paints this overall picture of dysfunction bonding together. Like like I said before, you're broken, I'm broken, let's hook up together. The music video is very, very interesting, where it's kind of got Watsky sitting in like this weird room, and it kind of pans out as there's some destruction, and there's lots of people kind of almost bonding together. Like, this is like the collection of all the misfits and all the broken weirdos joining together as a single family. And then there's still even a fourth verse, because of course Watsky's going to fuck us up on typical song structure for his grandiose vision, which I totally am feeling right now. And again, I didn't really say this yet, but the instrumental has evolved and morphed in a way where each verse gets its own distinct feeling, and so that each time you get called back to that hook of welcome to the family, it's almost like it adds a whole other like meaning to what welcome to the family means in the overall context of this universe. Like, it starts off being almost interpersonal, and then it kind of grows into like it being about everybody in a bigger like fucking family. And I don't know, man, by the end of it, you just get to like the bridge and you just feel like this implosion of connection, but also like this really honest assessment, you know, like those fires in your attic that rage without permission some days invade your living room and break out the kitchen. They breeze right through the building. They show up as they please and they retreat like grown-up children. Well, how do you like to split this L and tell me what you've witnessed if the price of hell? Well, no one ever had to sell me on how nice the fire smells. And it's just like this dark perspective, but meanwhile the juxtaposition of the joyful, happy music, but he's painting it almost like this is how his life looks. Like, everything's trying to be happy and nice, but really everything's so fucked up. But at the end of the day, if you feel that way too, no one ever had to convince him that shit's fucked up. Like, you guys are on the same side, so welcome to the family. And I really love the idea. Maybe I'm missing a point just a little bit, but I do think I got the whole general gist of it. But then we get to the culmination. Now, this song is only 3 minutes and 36 seconds, so considering all of this has happened in such a short little song is truly incredible. Like, it wastes no fucking time. Like, every second is used effectively to push forward this narrative that just ends on, you deserve love, and then the welcome to the family. You deserve love. Adding one extra element that shows that even though the whole world is fucked up and everybody's super crazy out there, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because we all kind of deserve love. So you, the listener, both of this podcast and of that song, deserve love. And in a sense, Watsky's welcoming you to the family. And like, I don't know, I feel amazed listening to this. It's so proactive and it's so interesting. Like, it's not some complete fluffy bullshit where it's like, I'm gonna love you no matter who you are. It's not that. It's kind of almost documenting the level of regular dysfunction that maybe he encounters in his personal life as he opens up his arms and his empathy to other people. It's almost like all the stories he's ever heard put together, and then he's realized he has this giant data pool and he's written it out here, and he's saying, well, if you feel like that, come be on my team. Welcome to the family. And it's kind of cool. It really gives me the feeling that Watsky represents shit. And I like that. So I give it a 4.5. It's really fucking cool. Why don't we move on then to all like, whatever.
So what? I picture how our kids would look. So what? I drew a picture.
I suppose if you were going to be like, Holden, what does Watsky sound like? This song, All Like Whatever, is a good example of what I imagined a Watsky would sound like before I listened to him, in the terms of the kind of floatiness to the beats, and like that chorus it sounds almost young and college-like I look at you and I'm all like, whatever. Like, it has this element of youth and innocence and almost ignorance to it, which is nice because I believe the song's about a crush. So these are the kinds of emotions one would typically associate with a crush. I liked how the chorus flows into I dream of you and I'm all like, whatever I got to do, whatever I got to do. And it shows that Watsky's this guy who's like really committed to wanting to get this particular girl. And regardless to whatever obstacles that may be in his way, he will accomplish the goal from like a romantic, like sweet point of view, I guess. And then it kind of goes into like talky college kid rap. So like, yeah, maybe I think about you sometimes. Yeah, maybe I think you're pretty all right. Yeah, maybe it'd be decent if we linked up. Fuck, am I crazy for just dreaming of you all night? And let's be real, that's some honest emotional shit he's putting out. It's nothing overcomplicated. It's just kind of like he's scrolling through pictures, wondering what kids would look like, drew a picture. So what, he wrote a song about her, so what? He's just kind of like, a little bit crushing and obsessing, which I wonder if that's still allowed these days. These days, sometimes these types of sentiments are no longer appreciated like they may have been once upon a time in the past. But still, I find it almost like this cute but honest look at what people feel like in these moments. So I really enjoyed that. And then, the second verse is whatever I got to do to heal the pain, whatever I got to do so you feel the same. Guess I'll probably do all of the above. If you love me and each night you call me and we talk on the phone and be all like whatever, because dreaming of you's an all-night endeavor, and yeah, it'd be chill if we spend our lives together, whatever, never mind if it's an effort. And I like that because it's kind of like time's gone on and he's really kind of solidified these emotions, but maybe he hasn't got the girl. Maybe he is talking. Maybe he's totally being friend-zoned, and he's kind of almost pitching this big old dream, like we can go all the way, and then he's realizing like maybe this isn't the right move, and her face is kind of shifting up, and she's like, oh, before she gives the whole "you're not my type" speech, she goes, whatever, never mind if it's an effort, But like, you could tell it really bothers him, and there's no never mind here, but it's still delivered so eloquently. Then you have the floaty bridge with the la la la's, and then the chorus comes in. I really appreciate what this song is, but I did find it a little sillier, a little less my type per se. So I appreciate the honesty, and I really think that, all things considered, this could even be really widespread and understood by many people. And I feel like from that angle of universality, Watsky does a really fucking great job. But from a sound, it did sound a little bit younger than me, and something I'm no longer really feeling in life. So I give it a 4.25, but 23-year-old me would really feel this. Why don't we move on then to What Goes Up?
In the air is from all the flowers fucking each other, but why not let them bloom? Let's get consumed.
So Watsky uses heavy auto-tune on this song to a little yachty level of auto-tune is what it really reminded me of. Now, I've defended Lil Yachty's use of auto-tune for a minute, so I'm not saying that from a point of hate. I'm saying this from a point that there's no fucking way anybody can tell me that Watsky's a mumble rapper even if he uses auto-tune. So there you go. This is the example of a man enunciating with auto-tune, because y'all know Watsky can do it. He's a pale white kid who raps fast and has proven empirically for almost a decade that he has skill. And here you go. Mad auto-tune, 2019, to a point where my voice can't even do some of those weird things. But I want to give him crazy credit on his use of auto-tune, because there's a couple of ways to do it. And I think a lot of people undersell the value of auto-tune. So what Watsky's doing here is fucking up his voice with surreal melodies that really complement the overall sound of the song. He's saying a bunch of shit, but he's doing stuff a human voice just cannot do, right? It's not, you just can't make those, maybe that very small polyphonic group of people who beatbox in the streets with the little sound boxes to like repeat whatever. I'm fucking up my language here, but these people who just are in the streets and can make any noise and can make songs on the spots, those guys can do this kind of shit with their mouth, but like most rappers can't. So what Watsky's actually doing here is something artistic, pushing the boundaries of technology to increase his voice. This isn't using auto-tune and going in and going huggada bugada hubbada, which okay, fine. There's certain examples of weak ass auto-tune use where SoundCloud is full of them, and I get everyone's point. But to say that auto-tune inherently is bad is stupid to me, because shit like this exists where it might not be your cup of tea, and I'll be honest with you, the auto-tune is not fully my cup of tea either. But you can see its artistic use here in a way that is above and beyond the average person's use of auto-tune. And on that point, this song is a great example of that, just because it's impossible for people to be like, this guy can't enunciate. Anyway, so this song is about like a girl again, I suppose, and it's too nice, so let's play hooky and get high till we both float away. We won't show today, doesn't matter what they say. What goes up can stay. And so this is kind of a peaceful song of skipping out on work/class and getting stoned and having a little bit of a moment. And honestly, the verses are fine. If you tell me I'm the one while we're lying in the sun, would you sign it on a piece of paper? Do you know what you're about? Could we live beyond our doubts in a world that we don't need erasers? All of that's auto-tune, all that singiness, and it's just kind of simple. And you know, they're kind of having that kind of aimless, I smoked a lot of pot for the first time type of philosophical conversation with the girl, and then loads into this idea of just floating because everyone's high. You can almost picture the weather nice and everything's kind of simple, and it's like a little daycation that's what it's like, a vacation for a day in the middle of the grind and shit. And the second verse doesn't say a lot either that really got me all hyped up, but it does follow suit, and the use of auto-tune changes. It's a different style, but again, it follows suit on this song, and everything kind of works together in the realms of what they've done. As far as a song about getting high and just escaping and having a little conversation, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing the bigger point, but it just kind of looks like they're escaping their problems within a couple to just have one more day. Maybe I'm missing that point. I don't really know, but in general, it's fine. It's a cute little song. It doesn't do that much for me, but it does show that for the third song on this project, Watsky's dropped a completely different style and a completely different flow. So this is another example of a rapper changing it up, or an artist just changing it up song to song, even from like a subject matter perspective. So track 1, relationships, being all fucked up, and welcome to the family, we're both fucked up. All like whatever, I'm into you, and everything's still kind of, we're both fucked up, relationshipy. What goes up? Let's get high, escape our problems, and bond. And then I guess from that point, I gave this song a 4.35. I don't think I said that. I liked it a little bit more than I'll like whatever. It does have a nice feel to it. I feel like it's super creative. It has some distinction. But why don't we go ahead and just talk about how you can easily fuck it up. What I know is that the people are running the show. This is another like really fun song in terms of the beat and the instruments. So it kind of starts off with like this vapid airiness, like excuse me while I fuck it up, you know, and he's singing and he's kind of has this joyful poppy beat mixed with like him kind of being like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. So I guess he's really into that juxtaposition on this project. And then the first verse, wanna crash in slow-mo. Now, I think it's interesting he says that because he's kind of doing a slower bit as he's singing, repeat our patterns and blow, oh no, I'm all plaid, you're all mad, the amateur saboteur's about to go pro. That's a fucking cool line. So the amateur saboteur is about to go pro, so a GoPro being the camera with the sole intention of letting amateurs go pro, and then as a saboteur, self-destroying of his relationships and shit, he's about to take it to the next level and fuck it up. That's a fucking brilliant line. That might be the best like cool punny line I think I've seen so far that has like popped out to me. I wanted to share that with you. That's dope. What I know about the people aren't running the show, any minute to another they come and they go. So at this point he's just gone ahead and went into double time and he's singing in double time like, what I know is that the people are running the show, any minute to another, and he does like kind of a that thing. I don't care if I fucked it up. I'm just trying to show you what he was doing. Anyway, and you're never going to get what the government owes, so do what you got to do to pick up enough of the dough. I don't see the benefit of us coming to blows. Give it a second, honey, I'll be stubbing my toe. And, like, you just kind of see him giving a little analyzing situation of like, you know, we don't necessarily get what's to. We don't have to go with each other. Trust me, if you just leave me to my own devices, I'm going to fuck up my own life anyway. This is just kind of the way things are, the way things have been. I don't know. But I like when he ends the verse with, but I'm dumb in love, out of touch. Is it too much or not enough? And I kind of, again, relate to that. Like, currently, I feel like I'm a pretty balanced person, but there are definite points, even in my recent past, where I felt a lot more like I'm dumb in love, out of touch, and maybe I'm too much, maybe it's not enough, and I can kind of annoy people with my intensity and shit. And I love the way that he has, like, 3 rhythm patterns in both the verses, and that he cycles between them seamlessly, and the beat and everything kind of fits well with that. And I really like how in the second verse he kind of raps a little bit more and kind of brings it again in that direction. So we're getting this good combination of singing and rapping on this project just to prove how multi-talented he really is. Overall, that's what the song's about. Again, emotional turmoil, fuck shit up. This is just kind of what life is for him at this point. And I don't hate it. I really appreciate his honesty and how he kind of like pours his heart out to us with all of this, and again creates the level of honesty that really I feel like I can connect to a lot of what this guy's been saying, because it is put in that way. And I don't know, like, never timid, it's a certified G thing. Even after getting 35 bee stings, still the motherfucker wouldn't hurt a fly's feeling. That's a fucking cool line, again, because he's connecting insects and shit. But being nice is sometimes not so nice. It's not so nice, so no, nice got dropped, didn't stop. I was caught up in my life like, hey, you know, like, things are a little bit of a chaotic mess, and he's learning that maybe being nice isn't the easiest thing, and that maybe the world's a little bit harder, and that blows are going to keep coming, but there's, again, this sense of consistency where he wants to keep going. And I like it, because like, even one of my lyrics that I've written, I make music myself, is like fucking shit up one day at a time, but I'll be mighty fine, you know, like, because that's like the whole premise of growth is to learn from like your mistakes, to keep fucking up and to get better. If you go listen to like Einstein and those dudes, they're all for that shit. Anyway, I found this to be a joyful, fun, and again, relatable and interesting song, so I fucking gave it a 4.5 on 5. I was truly impressed with Watsky at this point on the project, and I'm sure y'all know a bunch of mean-ass drunks.
Being with you kinda kills me inside. You want me to explain it? Well, it's sort of this look in your eye like you're cooking in it.
I think from the first bit of this song at the beginning, I knew this one was going to be special on this project. And spoiler alert, this motherfucker is a highlight of this album. And the video's great. Go watch it. It's really artistically well put together for what it is. But let's talk about the lyrics, because that's what I'm good at. We're summoning spirits. So this is a great line, because spirits is both alcohol plus kind of like conjuring up some spirit that might put you into a different like form. So in a sense, by drinking spirits, you summon a spirit or a demon or something to take over. Tearing the labels, you know, which is something you would literally do with alcohol, but also maybe conventional society as you get drunk and you tear away the labels of your conventional norms. Clearer than vodka, which is a clear alcohol. Bottle it up, don't bottle it up. So bottle up your emotions, but don't bottle up the alcohol. And then I guess when you get drunk, you let shit out. So has anybody told you that you're a mean-ass drunk? And then it's just such a strong and blunt fucking chorus. I believe this is about his ex, who may have been a mean-ass drunk. I don't really know. But I think that what really sold me on this song is how you got the chorus, has anybody told you they are mean-ass drunk? And then, oh no, oh shit, oh no, oh shit, oh no, oh no, no. And you're just like, wow, that's fun, the way he delivers it. And then he rolls into the verse with one of the nicest talky rap flows. Like, what I mean is like conversational, clearly coming from a point of poetry type flows. And you say it's your thing to be honest, like it's kind of a token of pride. Well, to be honest, you're kind of a goddess, but being with you, it kind of kills me inside. And I love that. Because I know a lot of people that think it's cool to be brutally honest. And I used to be one of those people, just side note. And then I learned through my book quest that most people can't stand that shit. And that honesty should be requested, not just delivered upon demand. Because if you give your honesty before it's been requested, nobody gives a fuck what you think. And the end result is that your honesty is fucking useless. Anyway, so you can just imagine her getting drunk and being honest and being mean. And so with all of her criticisms of him, which is a point of being honest when she's drunk, he feels like it's killing him inside. Anyway, and then you want me to explain it? Well, it's sort of like this look in your eye, like you're cooking an egg on the hood of your car because you're looking at it hard, but my heart is the egg and you're watching it fry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to lie. I am going to cry, but not right here. So that means that she's looking at him so fucking intensely that look has a heat to it that could cook an egg on a car, except that it's his heart being fried up. He's not going to cry, but he is going to cry. And again, this whole song has that like honest, like fluid emotions pouring out of him. Like, this is some real shit. I've been through that. I've had that kind of a moment in my life. Second verse really follows suit lyrically. It's the same kind of shit. It's fucking dope. Like, this song, I think it really kind of captures the essence of maybe being with a mean ass drunk and somebody. But what I really, really like is how, to a degree, it's like he knows he's not necessarily perfect either. I know that in general, like, in this song, he's kind of pitching it like her, but you know that in the greater scheme of the album, he knows he's not innocent, but in this moment, he's really taking the sign of drill into her. Like, in a sense, this is like him being a mean-ass drunk to her being a mean-ass drunk. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but I feel like Watsky's complex like that. I do like how he kind of ends up the second verse with, gotta say, I'll be skipping what you got for today. Maybe you'll be thinking that I'm hot in the head, or I'm sick of picking on my chicken pox in the bed. You can think what you like. I think I'll take in a height. And then, you know, he goes into the bridge. It's just one small complaint. I know I ain't no saint. I really like that. I really like the self-awareness, how as he's about to storm off, he realizes he's not perfect. This song's a 5 to me. It musically is beautiful and gorgeous and just has this energy that I think really fits. And it's a good way to approach this subject that juxtaposed happy music meets dark themes. I really am really digging it. And I think that from the theme perspective, it's like he knows he fucks shit up. And then in this one, it's like, well, now that he's in the depths of his misery, he's pointing out somebody else's mistakes. And then I feel like it flows really well into no complaints, no conversation.
No complaints and no conversation.
All right, so this one is kind of like each verse is him complaining about shit, like really delving into a specific topic, and then tying it together with this chorus of, but other than that, I've got no complaints and no conversation. So it's almost like this whole song is a response to some unfortunate soul who happened to stop him and be like, yo, Watsky, how are you feeling today? Well, there's something wrong with her, and there's something wrong with me. You know, and then he flows into the first verse as he describes being with a girl who's bad for him and how he shuts her out and everything's fucked up. And, you know, I'll pick lovers who got monsters and we bond on mental health till they remind me of what's ugly in myself. I really like that line because I've done that myself in the past when I was a little bit more fucked up. And, like, you just kind of find people who are also fucked up because it makes you bond over that shit. Like, hey, we can be cool. Until you start seeing the worst of yourself in that person, and then you kind of lash out at it. It's not very cool. It's a dangerous cycle if you're not careful. But I really related to that honesty. Again, in the second one, it's more about, like, successes and opportunities and how everyone's able to just kind of do this kind of shit, like just have an opinion out there. But what I really love is the end of the verse where he's like, putty and beautiful hands, potty mouth ready to curse to be cautious if all this is a scam. And I had to Google narcissist to check if that's what I am. And I really like that because I had to Google narcissist to find out that I'm a bit of a narcissist. I mean, come on, you don't get in front of a fucking camera and talk to people who maybe care about your opinion. Unless you're a bit of a narcissist, let's be real. It's not always a bad thing. It's just, it can be a bad thing. But I like that kind of idea of having to really look into it or just question shit and just to like realize that we're in this place where everyone's a little narcissistic with their opinions, and then realizing that's kind of heavy. And then the third verse has a lot to do, I feel like, with him repeating mistakes in his life and how he's not really evolving the way he should be. But he really kind of also approaches it like he knows what he has to do and he's trying to like figure it out. And I really like it. He goes quicker again, he speeds up the pace, and he makes it again an interesting, diverse, and alive song. Something that I really felt was great to listen to. It's one of the stronger points on this album, and it's not quite mean as strong, but it's pretty up there. So I'm giving this motherfucker a 4.5 on 5 because it's truly great. It's truly something I think maybe like if you're more on the straight hip hop side of things, you're not gonna like this project, and I totally get why. But if you're into the more experimental side of things and you've dug my opinion on that shit, then you're gonna fucking love this one. All right, you know what? That shit just feels all right. So, like, the way this song comes in, I'm going to interpret it as, like, getting fucked up. Like, So let's say you're with the girl and you then realize everything's bad and you're complaining in conversation. The typical follow-up to that, I suppose, is getting fucked up on your drug of choice and losing your mind for a quick second. And I think he's kind of commenting a bit on people's willingness to do whatever to numb the pain and escape, right? Did the bull crush me, or do I still give a fuck? Is my heart ripped out or just shriveled up, add water in its back like a brine shrimp? Rob, pimp, fuck, steal, murder, limp, buy, scrimp. Welcome to your life, kid. Rock bottom shithole. Grab a shovel, dig down, try to hit coal. Santa's in the North Pole doing fentanyl. No more good little boy, so he meant to kill himself so that he couldn't find a vein with the hot steel. He couldn't find himself at all, bitch. He's not real. And I really like that. Like, that was just such a heavy fucking interesting verse. So it's like, you feel yourself in the numbest and like fucking heartlessness inside of you and all the dark things that exist that you can do to kind of escape, almost depending on the type of person you are. Like, virtually every vice is kind of listed in its more raw monosyllabic sense, you know, rob, pimp, fuck, steal, all that shit. And then it's almost like you realize you're in a shithole and you're trying to find a way out, only to realize Santa's so fucked up because there's no good kids left and everybody's so dark and narcissistic and evil and getting fucked up that he's trying to off himself on the fentanyl, but he couldn't find his veins because he doesn't exist, which is just leading me to believe the whole thing's a fucking hallucination because the beat's all fucked up and shit, and it just feels like a drug trip put on paper, you know? Does it feel fucked up? Does it feel fucked up? But both the drugs and then life. And I like the second verse too. Like, I'd be real dumb if I seemed super. Every day we're digging out our souls with an ice cream Cooper. Visine might clean our tears, but I fear you'd be worse off if your sight's clear. And just that idea how, you know, Visine means you're smoking a bunch of pot and, you know, numbing out some shit, so maybe you're not seeing proper, but when you do, clean it all up and get the focus again to see what's actually going on in the world, it's pretty fucking awful even without the drugs and everything, you know? Anyway, it just kind of feels a certain way like that. Like, it's all dark and terrible. It's check-in time. How does it feel? How does it feel? And then it's all intense. But then it kind of like chills out, like when you're coming down on drugs and you got that really nice outro, like pretty nice. And then it like when it feels all right is what it's saying. It's like at the end of your trip when all the shit's over and you're coming down and you're thinking about your night and you realize everything's going to be okay. It's going to be all right again. And I think that's really effectively communicated there. And then you have that like watery kind of sound and it's like pretty nice, huh? We can go on like that for days. Like, this is kind of maybe all just some fucked up trip. I don't know. I thought it was really creative, really an interesting song. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I do think it's pretty cool for what it is. So I gave it a 4.35 on 5 because it's like better than the 4.25s and not quite the 4.5s. I don't know. My grading system's what it is. Anyway, the next track on this project is Limo, number 4, Emos.
Black, deep in the red. If you're in your bed, then you should come meet me instead.
I don't fully know if I understand this song, so I'm going to give you like what I took from it. They're all on the poorer end of life. The idea of a limo for Emos is more of a metaphor. He's that kind of guy that's there watching girl go through fucked up shit and whatever, and he's trying to get with girl. You guys always trying to get with girl when he's there for girl when she's going through fucked up shit. And he's just like letting her know, like, you know, you got force like Joan of Arc and he falls short like Bonaparte and you deserve greater. I know I'm no savior, but I'm here right now, so let's go. So it's almost like he's there to pick her up and let her be a shoulder to cry on. And, you know, if things aren't going over there, you can come see me and break down. I'm going to be your nice guy. I'm going to be your friend. And that's just kind of what I took from that. But, like, there's a certain degree of awareness to how this isn't necessarily the greatest, I guess. I don't know. But I like the second verse where he's like, we pay taxes, we live frugal, wear new suits, to old friends' funerals, have true loves until they're false. And then, you know, it's kind of like this, we all go through these cycles of life and we figure shit out and we're all just kind of regular in a sense. And, you know, when you're down and when you're next going through your hardship or whatever, I'll be there because we all kind of play the same roles and whatnot. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain repetition to this song in sense of like the dark cycle of life that they're going through as people. And this is just kind of showing that when you're down, He knows how to make that situation. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be like taking from this track. It does make him sound like a nice guy who knows how to score with messed up chicks, but I feel like he's kind of proven that throughout this album that is essentially how some of his dating life has gone down. I mean, I might be misreading it, but that's what it kind of feels like. So that makes total sense. I don't know. I gave it a 4.25. It's a decent song. It sounds nice. It does sound distinct on this album, like something we haven't heard before, but it's not really one of my favorites. But the fact that like one of the worst songs on this project to me is still significantly better than a lot of music out there, it should say something. Like I don't like to I don't think anything on this album is bad. If I compare it to all the music I listen, like I haven't given it a 4 yet. A 4 is my like, okay, that's a good song. It checks all the boxes and nothing like is bad about it. Nah, so anything above a 4 means that song has really tried hard, just to give you an idea. I know virtually everything I give is above a 4, but I also try to pick music that I think I'm going to find the best in, you know? I'm a little selective with the albums we review. Ultimately, though, I do dig this song. It's just, like, if the album is playing in full, I'm not going to skip it, but I can't say that this is one I'm going to seek out. But another one that I would go seek out is either drugs or some shit. I don't know. I just pictured mushrooms when he said Whitecaps.
You wanna brawl and crawl back into bed, but I can't.
I really think this song is a great way to end this project. It's a little bit different. So we've gone through this turbulent relationship-y bullshit, and this has some finality to it. Like, the relationship's over, right? But he's looking at maybe why, and it kind of approaches stuff like social backgrounds and shit. Like, I remember growing up on the poorer side and dating some richer girls, and ultimately when our relationships ended, it was stuff like our parents gave us different pistols, taught us different rules. Just that line there, you know, like I can remember that shit just happening, even if it isn't specific. I know what the next line in the song is, but just that line got me feeling like, wow, for everybody I've ever been around in my life that didn't grow up with my exact background, it creates an extra level of complication in relationships. And it's something that we don't often address when we try to convince everyone that common sense is a real thing, which it's not, because common sense requires us all to agree about it. At best, you get geolocal common sense to your neighborhood. But then your father was cruel. This man you resent is despite your best intentions what I represent. I say it isn't right. You say you want what's right. Be prepared to fight. Be prepared to fight. And I like that because he accidentally embodies the same characteristics of her dad, who happened to be a cruel person to her. So in a sense, girls and guys may end up dating people who are like that parent they hate more than they want to admit. And so here he is trying to be the best him he can be, but reminds her of this guy. And he's like, you know what? If you're coming at me for who I am, you best be ready to fight. And then I like the idea of capsizing, being like the ship going down and, you know, just kind of showing the relationship ending and shit. You know, overall, the whole song has this beautiful flow of just commenting on maybe the social norms that we're living in and how even as people our social norms are kind of breaking apart in our relationships. So it's not just like his relationship with her, but like all of our relationships with each other are almost in trouble a little bit. I think this song is beautifully done. I like the way he's just like sings out the women and children for sight of a new world, you know, like when you picture a boat capsizing, you're supposed to let all the women and children go, and the, you know, but it almost makes you wonder if that's how things would be like today in that kind of moment. Anyway, I really like the part where he's like, we act apart, I cracked her heart, am I still one of the good ones? That's a good one. You know, like this awareness that he's as bad as her, and just again, this level of awareness in the situation where nobody's innocent, both sides are wrong. And I like Watsky's honesty, as I've drilled home. This song feels very different than the rest of the project sonically, but it feels like there's some finality in it where the rest of the songs had a sense of confusion, which makes it a cohesive end to this project, which I think makes it the perfect place on the project for it. I gave it a 4.5. It's a really cool song. So for this album, I gave it a 4.46 on 5 for a whole. It's very short of being what I would call a classic. Typically, it has to be over 4.5 for me to now call it a classic, but it's also 9 songs, so I'm a little hesitant to gain for something that's not at least 10 to throw that word around, but it is an incredible listen. If you want some experimental, honest music that combines actual singing weirdly good use of auto-tune, rapping, speed and rhythm differentials within the same verse, clever writing, but honest emotion expression. This is an album for you. It kind of takes all sorts of complaints related to relationships and people and really lives up to the name of what this project sets out to be, but does it in a way where you end up wanting to talk to Watsky and be his homeboy, not be like you're a wanky whiner when it's all said and done. So I really admire this project, and it's another one from my arsenal of good albums that have come out that are new, that are further proof that music is just not dead. We just listen to the wrong stuff as far as charts and shit are concerned. But I don't know, I would love to delve deeper into words like pop music to fully understand them better, because I think as a society we are very confused on what all these terms mean. But that's not really the point. The point is Watsky's Complaint album is fucking dope, and you should probably check it out. And while it might not be your cup of tea, it's undeniable that this man has talent and deserves some love for this shit. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Thank y'all for watching. I look forward to seeing what comments y'all throw down there. We'll have a little chit chat, totally small enough as a channel that I can actually answer everybody who comments. I mean, maybe if this goes viral and I wake up to 1,000 comments, you're putting me in a challenging position, but I will do it, okay? I'm that type of person. Special thanks to the patrons Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Super School 1994, and Mr. Lindell Williams. They support what we do directly. Because of them, we have a new camera on the way, which will look better than this current camera. But they support us. They want to see us grow, and because of that, they get to enter into the request pool where once a month we pick an album from the Patreon team. They request it, they tell us what to do, and we review it. And when you sign up for that, the following month, no matter what, you get a bonus episode dedicated to your choice, no matter what album it is. There's no restrictions really to it, maybe, unless you give me a reason to. Anyway, other than that, you'll get access to content early, and we're looking into new ways to grow this into something bigger. So it's a bit of logistical shit going on before we can announce. Anyway, thank y'all. If that shit isn't interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please leave that comment. Do the normal shit. And I dropped a project recently. It should be flashing up now. If you want to show some love, you can check that out in the description of this video, and you'll see the link, and you can tell me what you think about that. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Be back with another one soon. Peace.